Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Joe Slick Live. I'm live today, and we've encountered a 5.6 to a 5.7 earthquake in Redwood Valley, California, and we're gonna show what we think is going on. And this is a breaking news. So, bunch of earthquakes the last 7 days. Watching California. Here's the triple junction, and this is the San Andreas. Uh, Leading up to this quake here, the 5.6 to 5.7, Clear Lake volcano. This is where they pump poop down in the ground or liquid poop and then create steam, create electricity. That's why all these earthquakes are here. Through Santa Rosa, down to the Hayward Fault, and it stops. But on the interior side is a Calaveras Fault, and it leads back onto the San Andreas down here. And you can see how much movement over the last week that's been happening. And if we move down here into near Los Angeles, you see this is the Ridgecrest area, the Searless Valley. Has several little earthquakes out there. Also, what's been moving quite a bit for some time is this little area right here, Johannesburg, which is the Garlock Fault. It's the virtually east-west fault system that is breaks down to the shear zone of Northern Cal and Owens Valley, and then Southern Cal, where the desert of Mojave Desert kind of breaks in. And then when it comes to Victorville, then you can see the great movements that have been happening over time. Great movements, meaning if you bring it all together, then you'll see what's happening here. Two main faults we have that are adjacent to the San Andreas fault system is the San Jacinto fault and the Elsinore fault. Both of these are part of the greater San Andreas fault system. The most active and the most dangerous, scientists have recently said, is the San Jacinto fault. Not so much the San Andreas. Both of these faults here, this San Jacinto and the Elsinore, release pressure from the San Andreas and makes the San Andreas less prone to pop. But when it does, it'll be devastating. And scientists in a new paper have talked about this San Jacinto setting off the San Andreas or vice versa, like it has in the past. And we'll be diving into that with a new rabbit hole, which is one of our expanded reports. You'll find that out shortly, and we should be filming that here Saturday, Sunday, and then posting it here shortly. But all of that is to say the San Andreas is moving in a north direction, and the resistance of North America, North American plate, which is the Pacific plate and North American plate, it's resistant because it's not moving as fast as the Pacific plate. So we're watching this rather large earthquake. Willits is right here in the Mendocino area. Fort Bragg is out here. A pretty good little rock and roller, to tell you the truth. If we're looking at a shake map, you can see the yellow here. It's in that area right there. Part of this is I just showed the members here at Joe Slick Live here on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Joe Slick Live. You can see us in the morning reports from 7 to 10 every morning, Monday through Friday, that is. And you can join us in chat and all that if you like. But we're watching over time what's been happening here. So this fault is along the Macamba Fault. This earthquake is virtually right here in the mountains. It has a strike slip component to it. Right here, the fault is north and south. The tension is in the north. The pressure is coming from the south. So pressure along, if you follow the fault system, the Macama Fault, it goes all the way through Santa Rosa, out through the Hayward Fault, onto the Calaveras Fault, and then back onto the San Andreas, which is the San Andreas goes right through west of the downtown San Francisco and offshore. It's all part of the same system. The triple junctions here, the subducting of the Pacific Plate and North America Plate, where North America has come over in time, has put underneath the Juan de Fuca and the Mendocino Plate. Scientists argue whether or not this is an actual separate plate from the Juan de Fuca Plate. Let me show you up here. And you can see this right here, this area right here, that this might be a separate plate other than this Juan de Fuca. And this is the Kula Plate. You know, arguments have been made one for the other, or it can all be the same plate, and they just name the areas. But what scientists have also said, which we've talked about extensively in our rabbit holes, which is just a deeper dive into the different things of the documentations that we found on all those area geologically. And this here is a part of North America that has a what's called a slab window. And how I've explained it is is basically where a subduction area happens, subducting plate underneath another plate, one diving down and one riding over. That's how we get all the volcanoes and stuff. Magma, or the water and stuff that goes underneath, heats up, cracks the rocks, makes magma, and rises up, and we get volcanoes, virtually, in a new way or in a fast way to explain it. But what a slab window is, down where you have two plates happening, and then you have a separation of another plate, and we call it a triple junction, where there's 1, 2, and 3. Generally speaking, the bottom side will be where there's no plate, right? This will be empty, and this will be all subducting down beneath the plate that's out here. And this slab window is not that there's nothing there, but basically, if you have the ground, top of the ground here, you have the plate here, and then you have a larger plate out here that this will have magma will be down here or in the moho or the upper mantle. So this portion of this will be a slab window, whereas in a subduction zone, this will be coming underneath, right? And you won't have that window right there. So this window won't be there. It'll be all part of the subducting plate. So that's the difference. What we've seen is this earthquake is happening just on the edge of that slab window. So it's hard to tell because it's underground, and it's 8 kilometers. It's relatively shallow. And it's in an area that doesn't quake large very often. The history of the area of large quakes you can see down here and up here on the Mendocino Ridge. Part of the Cascadal Range is up here from Lassen through Shasta and all the way up through the Oregon and Washington volcanics. Cascade Mountains. And you can see this here's the um, strike slip area of the plate boundary that happens. So this air is moving that way, this air is moving that way, and it's spreading, or not spreading, it's sliding side by side. Whereas this area right through here is more of making more. It's a spreading center. So all the earthquakes that are happening out here um, are due to the interaction with the Pacific and the North American plates, the Mendocino plate, Fukuoka plate, and all of this conjunction. And so this quake that's happening here is a relationship to the San Andreas fault system, far as we can tell. And it's relatively shallow. I can't believe 11 kilometers now. Now I see, is it now to 8 kilometers? I'm not sure. Because I just saw 8 kilometers. Yeah, 8 kilometers in depth. So that's not very deep. It's a relatively shallow fault. So I don't know if there would be any surface breakage. There might be some because it happens right out here. Um, where's that little lake? Here's Clear Lake, and then here's this lake. So it's happening right out here in this pressure here. It's a north west to southeast fault system that's out here. There might be some landslides in the area, but Willits is a town that probably, felt this one pretty good. And you can see the direction. There's some extra, they call it Redwood City, but Willits is definitely feeling it. Here's a 2.0 Willits. See, it's this little valley right here, the fault system. This was probably this quake here. It's I wouldn't say there's a thrust component. There's a compressional component to this earthquake, and the like. Being reported here that there was an uptick in tremors in the southern portion of Oregon last night. We can take a look at what the tremor map is saying right now based on the PNSN, and you can see a large number of vibrations. These are not earthquakes. These are tremor vibrations that are happening on the from the subducting plate beneath North American plate, the Pacific portion, or the Mendocino Ridge, going underneath North America, and vibrations here and here. Our earthquake that we're seeing tonight or today is actually right up here, just off the 101 freeway. If you've ever driven that, it's pretty cool. Here's Willits. So our earthquake is down here. And there's a lot of faults that move in this northwest to southeast direction through here. Same direction as the San Andreas. That's all part of the San Andreas fault system, in conjunction with the Cascade Range of volcanoes and the subducting plates of Mendocino, Fukuoka, and Kula, and all the interactions. So a larger scheme of things is what's going on, and this is the tensions on this side. It's this fault plane here. It's not this fault plane here. There's nothing going east-west other than the pressures put upon the tension up here. So that's what's going on. 2,000 people have reported it already. That probably will rise if I refresh it. 3,000 people have reported it. It's felt as south as far as San Francisco and as much north as Eureka. So Santa Rosa, I am more inclined to think if this made room up here to move from a southerly position, then I'm more inclined to think the greater Santa Rosa or even a Hayward area following that same fault pattern of the Macama fault all the way through San Francisco and back onto the San Andreas, would tell us that um, if there is another quake, that this could be a precursor to something making room for itself. You can see actually the trend is a little bit south right now. So when this earthquake happened, um, there are other responses as it travels down right into Redwood Valley, Kapala, and Lake Mendocino, and Ukiah, and then on down to Clear Lake, which again, this is an area of uh, this is a volcanic area. I think the actual volcano's up here. But what they do is they drill into the side of the volcano where it's hot, and they pump not raw sewage, but kind of the liquidy stuff into the ground in a lot of areas. And I can show you. Go to GE, and where they pump it into the ground and uh, create steam. So they drill one hole and then a second hole, and they create steam uh, in there, and um, that steam turns into electricity. So basically, little places like this, they turn the turbines. Okay, so that's kind of what goes on. It's one of the largest areas. I don't know if it's the largest area. You can see here's another plant, another plant. It's riddled with them, and then you'll actually see steam pipes, right? Um, here's another one. Here's another one, right? And here's this. So, in looking at the epicenter of this quake, let's go ahead and look at that real quick. Here's the epicenter. Um, Buddhist monastery up there in the Pacific Northwest, or in Northern California. What else is out here? Nice little golf course. What is this? Oh, what is this? Big, big, giant houses. That's for what that is. Junkyards too. Um, that's a horse corral. Looks like pretty nice homes. A lot of farming, ranching. Yeah, have a pool that's bigger than your house. Oh my God. I'm going to save this to the project here. And they've got it as a 5.6. Mm-hmm. Making an earthquake. So we don't lose our spot. All right. So you can see the nice little fault system that works right down that area. So yeah, it happened here. Looks like they're just doing uh Little Cave Creek, Russia River headwaters. Okay. This is Willits over here. I wish I could remember the year in the 80s. Macama Fault is long fall, goes from San Francisco to Minnesota. Oh, yeah. Fracking. Hey, Circus Girl. Nice to see you. Shake Alert said 6.0 quake. People are saying, I felt within 120 miles of the epicenter. Yeah, okay. So we do have some vibrations in the area, but it is to the outside of this fault plane. And what's the latest? 3,000 people still? Yeah, 3,000 people said they felt it. This event identified potential as a main shock, has 11 fault system sequence. Shake Alert activated. Some damage is possible. 60 to 70,000 people are affected. And around 10 million people felt a weak moment magnitude of a 1 to 3 level and to light shaking. So that's USGS reported. Now the moment tensor has changed. Tension on the eastern side, and you can see the ball has changed radically. Like I said, it's still the north to south, northwest to southeast. Pressure's coming from the Pacific side onto North American side. So, what type of image do we have? I thought I had that one up. All right, there we go. There we go. So here it is. And it's not a reverse thrust. It's not a normal fault. There's definitely a strike slip component to this. And it could be transtension or compressional. Yeah. Here's another image. I'm looking, it's pretty close to this. Mostly strike slip with some dip slip. Right? It's fault plane. Pretty close to this. Pure strike slip, right lateral. Right? So we know it's a strike slip of what's happened here. And it's already down to a 5.6 now, still 8 kilometers depth. Looking at the origins, 5.7 to 5.8 or 5.5 to 5.8. That's what USGS has it as. Others are reporting it to a 6 and below. So USGS is still working on their assessment, so things could change. Little or no affected population for landslides estimate, and liquefaction, little or no effect as well. And yeah, I mean, it's a typical California earthquake, right? It's good that it's not in a very highly populated area. And we should be thankful for that. These people here in Willits, maybe stuff fell off their buildings. I've been in several 5s, and they're pretty close. What the hell close are they? Willits, downtown Willits is 12 miles away. Yeah, they felt that sucker. For sure. Yeah. I watched Ashfall debrief last night about Cascadia. Yeah. I was watching it till still 42 felt reports. 42. 14. I'll be in the year 1440 or 1610. Another 6 probably happened near the Ukiah area. So that being said, down here, I know further down in as we get to Santa Rosa area, that area rocks and rolls pretty good. Again, this is one of the offshoots of the Macama Fault and the Bartlett Springs Fault. Both of them kind of conjoin up here behind the slab window that exists right out here. I don't know how big. I don't think scientists know how big that slab window is, but it's all part of the system, the San Andreas Fault system, the Pacific Plate moving northwest, and the North American Plate moving virtually west to northwest. And the conjunction here on the Mendocino plate boundary is pretty stark, and the Juan de Fuca out here pretty stark. So any movement of the Pacific Plate, which is the edge of it, is the San Andreas. We'll be watching more of what's happening right now in the area all day. There are 9 quakes ranging from 5.6 all the way down to 1.5 in the area. It does appear it's traveling down toward the Macama Fault down here. So that pressure from the south moving up in here, it's the tension just broke it a little bit, the rocks. And being 8 kilometers, that's not very deep. The Macama Fault is one report is saying in chat here that the typical the main thought of the idea is that the Macama Fault can produce upwards of a 7.6 earthquake. Because of the length and the type of fault it is. Because it travels from San Andreas down here, up the Calaveras, through Hayward, through Santa Rosa, and up. But again, it has the Clear Lake volcano right there adjacent. And we're seeing the same kind of earthquakes, series of earthquakes. They're crossing right here. That's interesting. And you can see off of the Mendocino traveling, into San Francisco, the pressure being pushed up in that direction, I believe. My opinion, anyway. And the results of those earthquakes out here. This is part and parcel of what's going on. The Texas liniment comes off of this earthquake way up here at 3.7, crosses California through western Nevada and through Arizona and out. The Walker Lane liniment comes out of the north, crosses the Texas liniment, goes through Owens Valley and south. And that's where the shear, California shear zone is. All due to the Pacific moving at a very high rate of speed relative to what it is. So the off the coast, it's moving at 69 millimeters a year. North America is moving 24 millimeters a year on average. All these are average, by the way. And our area of interest is up here in the strike slip area. And so that's what's going on. And as we look at what else is happening on earthquakes today, we do have the Johannesburg 2.6 and also Texas 3.1. That's probably due to drilling. What's the depth of that one? Yeah, 8 kilometers, same. Down in South America, USGS is reporting 4.9 in Mexico prior to, and this is in, what's the state? Chiapas. And, well, how long was it? Oh, 5 and 8, 3 hours before the California fault earthquake. And also San Salvador happened yesterday at 4.4. This one happened yesterday? Yeah, that one happened yesterday. So 24 hours before this one up here hit. Reason I'm looking at that, because this red line is a plate boundary. This is the Cocos Plate. This is a Nazca Plate. This is the Pacific Plate. And we watch how earthquakes will move along these plate boundaries. And unlike this one that's out in the middle, where this is probably due to drilling, oil drilling and fracking. But there is other faults that are working through more ancient faults than this. But up in Alaska, a couple of quakes. And if we follow the Texas lineament, we do have something 2.6 in Perryville. Kamchatka, we do have a small quake, 4.2. Now, this is interesting here. If you remember last week we had the week before, we had a pretty good little quake down here. And then, it was a month ago now. Then we had Sulawesi over by Palau, big earthquake. And now on this side over here, north of Manila, several quakes happened. 5, 4.9, 4.8, 4.4, 4.8, and 4.5. On this plate boundary here, should be watching what's going to happen over there. All these are due to the plate moving, North America or the Pacific Plate diving underneath this plate here called the Philippine Plate, which is diving underneath the Asian Plate, which we call, you can see the Sunda Plate. So the edge of the Sunda Plate has been rocking and rolling. We do have some quakes out here that have taken place. The Philippine Plate is on this end. Been rocking and rolling pretty good. The 8.8 that took place up in Kamchatka, all this side, the eastern side's been moving. What's interesting is finally we're catching some activity out here where we had some activity, minor activity in Mexico, and some down in all this would be the eastern side of the Pacific, okay? This side will move, and then this side will move, or vice versa. One makes a way for the other one. Down in Chile, 4.3, 4.3, and 4.5. And Argentina has a 4.5. But I still have yet to see anything really respond since the 8.8 and the virtually the 7 and what happened in Sulawesi. If I showed you what happened the last 30 days, the larger ones, you can see our side of the world, or the United States side of the world, awfully quiet. Even Alaska's quiet. This side has really, really been going. And big earthquakes happen here. And here's the Sulawesi quake, 6.7. Dangerous quake. They're all on alert, high alert. This large earthquake that took place out here, 7.8, right? Massive quake. And we have, 6.2. you can see this area responding. And then we've seen some volcanoes down here and the like. So the pressure tends to swirl in this area, but um, you know, scientists have seen and watched the whole entire thing move, and one creates space for another. Yeah. Well, you should always be alert. Always have a plan. You see, um, Predator Pesto 8.8 where? Yeah, that happened up here in Kamchatka, north of Japan, Russia, basically. Always have a plan. The greatest majority of people getting hurt in an earthquake is man-made. Okay, so a shelf, a bookshelf, a uh, a building. You see, earthquakes don't generally kill people. Buildings kill people. Refrigerators or, freeways. Niners in the house. Thank you, Susan, for uh, helping Presto there. Appreciate it. But in the Eden's out there. Nice to see you, Eden. And Niner, of course, my buddy Niner. Yeah. My opinion was a 4-shot. Get ready, get your bags ready, he says. Yeah, again, so everybody's aware, we will be adding the rabbit holes again. It won't be necessarily, I'll be showing parts of it here on our channel here, but it will probably be over on Rumble. So if you haven't signed up over on Rumble, please do. YouTube is changing the rules, so we're being very careful. I'll be removing everything off of YouTube, tell you the truth. Just because, they look at things, 3 and 4 years ago and they said, oh, you did this wrong. Bam, they throw out your site. They have the rights to do it. It's their platform, so it can happen, But yeah, Happy Bee. Yeah, definitely. And it's Joe Slick and the rabbit hole. Generally, I try to put the rabbit hole out there. Yeah. And the rabbit hole is a more detailed look and diving into, a lot of it is our opinion. And we're trying to assess what we've read through other articles. But specifically tied into what happened this morning is there's an article out, which other people have already commented on. And I'm holding it back because I want to do a really good report on it or commentary on it about the San Andreas and the Southern California connection and how dire these specific scientists believe that Southern Cal is in right now. It is way, 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 way overdue. And I don't want to bring fear, but always have a plan. And the type of quake that can take place has happened on many occasions. And we'll go through and we'll trace those down and talk of the implications of how and what we know it's brought about and why we think we can see it happening again. And I think this 5 or near 6 that happened up in northern Cal. Los Angeles should be alerted that it's in the chopping block. I call it chopping block because it can happen right now. And, 6.7 on the Pacific side of things and upwards of a 7.8 on the North American side. So basically, if you live on the left side of the San Andreas, is less worrisome. However, if there's a bubble that exists, like a push up, like we know, this is just totally conjecture, so please don't, just take it for what it is. We know when we have a subduction zone, right, that there's buildup up in here, right? Because this is overriding this. This is subducting down, right? So there's a buildup up in here. We know this. I'm not going to talk about how, volcanoes are created over here. But when you have a plate that's moving against another plate, sometimes they override thrust faulting, right? And as they override the other plate, they create mountains. All of Los Angeles is thrust faults. It's due to the way that the two plates are coming together. I wonder if, and it would be extremely hard to prove. I wonder if there's not a bubble underneath Los Angeles, that if the San Andreas broke, and, I'm sorry, it's kind of like this. If the San Andreas broke around it or on this side, and I'll show you the two areas. If it broke here or here, which is done in the past, then the coast won't just get a 6.7, it'll get upwards of an 8. This is the bend here. This is the bend here. If we look at the tectonic stuff here, you'll see that that area is purple. And that's due to the thrusting. And what do we call that? On the thing up here, you can't see it. I apologize. Right here, continental convergent boundary. What that means is it's compressional. This portion of the San Andreas, which is right behind Los Angeles, is all compressional. Why is that important? Looking at the greater Los Angeles, you can see this point and this point. All this is compressional. You have the San Bernardino Mountains, you have the Los Angeles Mountains, and then you have, the coastal ranges. Out here, you have the Sierra Nevadas. The Sierra Nevadas are turning because the impingement of the Mojave Valley, or Mojave Desert coming in. Right there is all a conjunction of the Garlock Fault. We have the Owens Valley Fault, which had near 8s, and it can produce 8s. The Panamint Valley, which also can produce 8s. The Death Valley can also produce 8s, right? Scientists have all said this. These three valleys up in the top in the shear zone here can produce upwards of an 8. We've already experienced out here behind San Bernardino, 29 Palms had a 5.7, and then we had, shortly thereafter, a large 7.3 earthquake, and then Big Bear went right after that, high 5s, low 6, and then 10 years later, another 7.1 took place, and then up here in Ridgecrest in 2019, it happened. So in 40 years, there were 3 7s just in Southern Cal. In that same time period, we had the valley quake out here, right? Were destroyed. Just incredible destruction out here in San Fernando, right? And then we've had out here. It was actually right here, Kern Lake bed right here. This quake that happened out here, 2 years ago, shocked everybody. Actually, it was over here by the Corzozo. Fraser Park, they called it. Well, in 1952, there was a 7.3 out here. I think it was a 7.3. And then in the 1800s, right? 1840 or something, somewhere out there. Right here up at Coalinga, 7.8. This area can go big, and the history of it, and we'll dive into that in the rabbit hole. So I'll let you know when that happens. So again, hey Simon, nice to see you. This earthquake we had today can be traced down the Macama Fault, through Santa Rosa, through San Francisco, through the Hayward Fault, back onto the San Andreas. Okay. In the last 30 days, we've had a couple, near fives up here, a couple of high fours. Nothing in here in 30 days. Nothing down here in 30 days. What does that say? Is it imminent? No. It's just telling you that it's moving. And will it happen? Sure. Interesting quake way out here, 4.6 off Baja. Wow. On the plate down here, 5.3. I've seen fives move up. Also, the 6.1 that was off Cuba, I guess on the 8th of June. We've been watching for this region, greater region here, this region, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Nevada, to go a larger earthquake. Not a massive quake, just a larger 5+ in that region. It hasn't happened yet, but that's the trend. And looking at the trends and how things happen, watching how they take place. I mean, we watched the Kamchatka 8.8 move into northern Japan. That's what it does all the time. Right? Up in this portion of Japan. Rocks and rolls when every time Kamchatka happens. The historical record proves it. And that's what we're trying to do. Anyway, I don't want to bemoan that and get any further, but nice little earthquake we had this morning. And for this breaking news, thank you for watching us. You can see us on YouTube. You can see us over there on Rumble. And we did a really good series last year on all the faults in California. I think we started it in June of one year. We went all the way through December. Rabbit holes. Great information. And again, a lot of it's our opinion and it's just what we've observed. Observations. And we'll be doing that again here shortly. We're over here on twitch.tv/Joe Slick Live every day, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 10. And then we do the morning report, which we bring you up to date on current issues during the morning show. And then the morning report at 8 o'clock. We talk about what's happening and from your solar to terrestrial, extraterrestrial to terrestrial every day. All right. Thanks again. And remember, don't get none on you.